Welcome, everyone. Before we get underway here, I did want to call your attention to a few slides here. Lewis Carroll and Alice on Stage, the Saville Clark letters, now available at long last. And if you're a member, you get a discount from the University of Virginia Press on their website. So yet another reason to re-up your membership. Speaking of which, Rebecca Blazer, our secretary, reminded me that it's that time of year again. If you haven't renewed your membership yet, here's a gentle reminder to do it. Love this Harry Roundtree illustration, by the way. And what does your membership get you? Well, I'll find that slide and I will tell you. I mean, the night letter, of course, that's worth the price of admission right there. But then you're also helping to support our live and in-person events, our publications, and membership starts at just $55 or only $25 for students. What a bargain. And lastly, our upcoming events. So I finally got a little clarification from Yunshu last night. She received a grant from us, and I know exactly what she's going to be talking about now, and I will read it to you because, again, she just sent it to me. So she was a Stan Marks Fund grant recipient, the LCSNA. So we helped her travel to two major archives in the US, the Bancroft Library at Berkeley and the Harry Ransom Center at the University of Texas, Austin. And the title of her talk is Through Atlantic and What I Found There, the Chinese Translations and Adaptations of the Alice Books in American Archives. So there you go. That's not even on the website yet. She just emailed it to me, but I will get that updated. So we'll see you on January 11th for that. In March, in honor of the anniversary of the publication of The Hunting of the Snark, we're going to do a little Snarkapalooza. So more than one speaker, maybe two, maybe three, I'm not sure. And I think it's going to be on March 29th, but that's not absolutely confirmed yet. But keep an eye on social media and your email, and we will announce that soon. And then the 2026 Spring Conference, when is that? What's going to be going on there? Someone's here to tell you all about it a little later. That will be one of our presentations. So now that that's all out of the way, welcome everyone to the Lewis Carroll Society of North America's Carrollian Show and Tell. This is our sixth show and tell. I'm so happy to be hosting this again. It's just such a nice event. We get to see some new faces. We get to see some people you know and love, and it can be anything. They can be showing you a new addition to their collection, maybe a little bit of research they've been working on, a great gift they've been given. And we have examples of all those today. My name is Heather, by the way, if I haven't said that already. And we are going to get underway right now with one of those new faces that I just referred to. Betsy Cordon is here, and she did an art project for your capstone. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. Why don't you, well, tell us a tiny bit about yourself. Like, have you always been into Alice and Lewis Carroll?
So basically, okay, I have been into Alice in Wonderland ever since I was 5 years old. I do have a bit of like, I don't know if you can see some of my merch that I've collected over the
Nice.
course of a few years, but I have been a fan of Alice for 18 years now. It all started back when I was 5, and I begged my mom to get me this DVD copy of the 1980 Burbank Films adaptation, which is actually one of my favorite animated adaptations of Alice in Wonderland to this day.
Nice.
But that movie itself, like, catapulted me into my own rabbit hole of wanting to learn, research, and consume any piece of media of Alice in Wonderland that I could find, and by extension, also Lewis Carroll and his works and his life. And so that's where I am now, and I just absolutely adore the story. I love everything about it. It has consumed my entire life. It has made me who I am today, and yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm actually going to share my screen for Betsy's presentation here. So she did an art project that she is going to tell you all about now. Just let me make this
Yay.
full
Okay.
screen for you. There we go.
Yay. Okay. So to give a little introductory thing, I brought all of my love that I had for Alice in Wonderland with me to college, which would be put to use in my capstone art class back in 2024. And so this course was essentially one big group project between myself and my classmates, where we had to make art pieces for a big exhibition that would take place in just a few months. And so from the get-go, I knew I wanted to make an art piece about one of my favorite things in the whole entire world. And knowing that the 160th year anniversary of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland was around the corner, I had to jump on the opportunity to make this art piece right here that I'm going to present to you all today through this presentation that Heather has so kindly shown on screen. So I'll give this little piece a little twirl first before we dive into the presentation. Okay, can you please click next, Heather? The art piece, yes. Okay, so the art piece. Yes. Okay. So this is a better look at my three-dimensional multimedia art piece, which is titled Betsy's Adventures in Wonderland, and it was made with a mix of oil paint, acrylic paint, and digitally drawn and printed elements. This piece is not only an homage to Carroll's 160-year-old novel, but it is also a projection of my love and adoration for the timeless classic. And it reflects how much Alice has had an impact on my life. To make the piece more personal, I replaced Alice, who is my favorite character, with myself. And all the visuals from my piece are just small glimpses of how I view Wonderland, and I made sure to sprinkle lots of iconography throughout my work. So on the left photo, we have the front of the piece, which is a general landscape I made with some mushrooms of various sizes, along with some checkered grass, rose bushes, flowers, and some playing cards. And you can see myself on like the right side peeking out around the corner of the book. And I look absolutely joyous to see the white rabbit who is right in front of the piece. And on the right photo is the spine of the piece, which has more of the checkered grass and the foliage that I added on the front, along with some trees and a signpost. Next, please. And on the back of the piece, I have a bunch of imagery of the Mad Tea Party, chairs, teacups, teapots, the March Hare's house, etc., along with an Eat Me cake at the center. I did forget to mention at the front of the cover, there is the Drink Me little image that I also added to kind of parallel the two. Sorry, I had to put all my notes on the phone instead of the slideshow, so I'm reading off of that. Next, please. And this is a different view of my piece that was displayed at the exhibition, which shows the pages that I painted gold to match the gold framing that I have around the work. And I also stuck in a few mini little playing cards around to really add dimensionality and to add more to the display on top of the blue fabric that I put under it. And next, please. Now I wanted to dive a little deeper into the process of how I exactly made my piece. Next, please. So I started by using this Barnes & Noble book edition of Alice in Wonderland as my canvas. And to this day, I still think the concept of painting on a book is super cool. And I wanted to make sure that I used a book edition of Alice in Wonderland that was thicker and more commonly reproduced because I do cherish a lot of my Alice books, and it would break my heart if I had to like paint on top of one of them. So I made sure to use that specific one. And next, please. I primed the book with gesso. Next, sorry, this is gonna be a bunch of sequential images at this point. And then I toned it with teal liquid acrylic paint. Next. And then I started going back and forth between sketching out the piece with a darker liquid acrylic paint, and I also painted on top with oil paint, so I went back and forth a little bit. Next, please. And you can just keep going a little bit until, let me see. It was more just adding more oil paint on top and really making it colorful. And then right there, after all the oil painting that I did, I painted some more with acrylic, which I mostly put on the border of the book and the little circular frames in the center of both of the covers. Next, please. I also added the Drink Me bottle and Eat Me cake, and that was pretty much the painting portion of my project, which I'm really, really happy and satisfied with. And I absolutely adore the colors. And next. And so, for the small character cutout portions of the piece, I started out with drawing my own version of Alice, as initially for my project, I wanted to have her in the piece instead of myself. I was very influenced by Alice Little, along with multiple iterations of Alice when I was drawing my own version, including John Tenniel's original Alice design and some movie/miniseries adaptations of the character, such as 1972, 1981, 1986 BBC, 1980 Burbank Films, and 1999 Hallmark. Next. And so it was in the middle of the process that I decided to go from making just Alice to making her myself. Next. Let's see. So I roughly sketched out the pose on paper before translating it onto my computer, where I drew the front and back side of myself as Alice. And I specifically colored the dress yellow as a shout out to the colored illustrations from the nursery Alice. And since yellow is a complementary color to purple, I decided purple was the secondary color I wanted to use for the dress. Ironically enough, though, if I were to have my own Alice dress, it would definitely be pink. Runner-ups would be blue or purple. Next, please. And so I printed her out and I cut her out very carefully with an X-Acto knife and I glued both sides together, which results in what you see in front of you. Next. And it's, yeah, that's how it looks. I attached her to the book. Next, please. And so for the White Rabbit, I mainly took inspiration from John Tenniel's design of him, as well as the 2010 Tim Burton live action design. I did have other inspirations in mind, but I kind of forgot which ones that I used for that. And I did the same process of sketching the White Rabbit on paper, transferring him onto my computer, and drawing him from there. And so the color scheme is also inspired by the Nursery Alice coloring of the White Rabbit. Next. Like I did with myself, I printed him out, cut him out very carefully with an X-Acto knife, and since the White Rabbit for this piece wasn't double-sided, I attached a little strip of photo paper behind him to attach him to my book. And that is pretty much the entire process of how I made my piece. Next, please. Also, thank you guys for the comments. I appreciate it. I wanted to add this slide as well because I wanted to give a little shout out to the original cover where I just absolutely adore the simplicity of it and the gold trimming and the little designs at the front with the circular frame. I wanted to parallel that with my piece where I did that with the drink me bottle and the eat me cake. Next. And so I have some bonus photos that were during the opening and closing reception of the exhibition I did with my fellow classmates. Next. Okay, so these photos are from the opening reception, and the left photo is me with my little brother next to my piece, and then the right photo is just myself with my piece. I really, really loved wearing the pink dress that I had that I actually got from two of my best friends for my birthday. I think it was definitely last year. Next. And this was during my closing reception where my class and I had our artist talks and I wore one of my cute Alice dresses for the event because coincidentally also I was so happy to like find this news out during the process of the exhibition. The closing reception was on May 4th, exactly May 4th, which is Alice Little's birthday and also the day that Alice fell down the rabbit hole and went to Wonderland. So I thought that was absolute destiny, pure coincidence. I was so happy. Next. And so if you ever want to find me anywhere else, I have a TikTok where I do more Alice shenanigans and I occasionally post Alice content here and there. I don't know if anybody uses TikTok on here, but my @ is Maravilla in Wonderland. And if you're ever curious about more of my art, I have my artist website, which is betsyswonderland.card.co. Next. And that is all. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for the opportunity and I'm so happy that I got to share this with you all. Thank you so much.
I am so happy as well. And girl, that was 8 minutes exactly. Man, you time.
Really?
I told everyone, I told our presenters they had up to 8 minutes, and I had a little.
Wow.
I put the little timer going, and you spoke for exactly 8 minutes.
Oh
That's
my God,
amazing.
that is so awesome.
So we will get into your art piece, but I gotta say, I need friends like yours. If they gave you that dress, that is so gorgeous. Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you.
absolutely amazing. So how did, I mean, I know the answer is going to be overwhelmingly positive, but how did your piece go over
Oh,
at these receptions and at the exhibit?
overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
During the opening reception, oh my gosh, I have this one core memory. There was a group of girls. It was one of my friends. Shout out to Isabel, that's her name. She had some friends over from Japan that transferred over to America to like come and see stuff, and they were really in awe of my piece, and I was like so incredibly happy. But a lot of people were just coming around to my piece and everybody else's pieces around the exhibition, and it was just super, super, super nice.
Uh, I love it. It is just gorgeous. Yeah, this was a college project, right? So at which
Yes.
school?
It was the University of Rhode Island, so the
Yeah.
I live in the tiniest little state ever.
Well, you have a very big personality, so you're like Alice, and it fits perfectly in your tiny
Thank you
state,
so
I
much.
think. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, I love hearing from, new faces, and this was just an astoundingly beautiful piece. I wish I could
Thank
see
you
it in
so much.
person. Absolutely gorgeous. And please stick around because at the end we'll have a little group chat with everybody here, all our
Absolutely.
presenters, and you can get a chance to talk to each other. But thank you so much, Betsy. And we are going
Well,
to
thank
move
you, Heather.
on to Dr. Rachel McRoberts. And Scott McRoberts is going to help her out here a little. Hi, both of
Hi.
you.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And tell us a little bit about what you're going to show us.
Yeah, I
I'm going to show you a little bit of everything. I too am a lifelong Alice fan, and it's been really incorporated into my into our lives and into my work as a mental health counselor, and a writer, and for him as an artist. So we have this collection that's been building since I was a little girl, and now it's our collection. And there's been times in our life where I'm like, we should downsize the collection, and he's like, no, it's now it's our collection. So we're just a little overview.
Excellent. Well, great. You can go ahead and share your screen, and I can't wait to see the now joint collection.
And I think we put a link to our slides in the chat because there are some hyperlinks, if you want to click on them.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yep, and we are seeing it perfectly full screen.
Here we go. Okay, so yeah, I'm Rachel McRoberts. I'm a mental health counselor in Tennessee. We met when we were in art school in upstate New York, but now we live in Tennessee and have a studio at home. Um, I primarily work with children who've been abused, and um, I'm a play therapist as well as a mental health counselor. And I also teach master's and doctoral level students at the University of the Cumberlands. But my practice is counseling with creativity. And I now have a small indie press called Teapot Cottage Press. Here's one of those hyperlinks. I wrote an article for the what is it? It's the archival research of archetypal symbolism, and it's the largest collection of Carl Jung's work as well as symbology from around the world. And I went there looking for articles, writings about the white rabbit, and there wasn't one. So I wrote one, and you can click on that and read it. But there's a picture of me and my mom in the upper left hand corner. A white rabbit was her focus object while she was in labor with me. And they're like moving across the top of the screens a little bit of our collection, a drawing of the white rabbit that I made, and then on the lower left, a sand tray that I made, and there's my son dressed up as the white rabbit on the for the Easter train. Um, and I also talk about the significance of the white rabbits in the movie Us. When our son had cancer and was in the hospital, there wasn't a lot that we could do. He had to stay in one room for up to 8 weeks at a time, but he lived the majority of 8 months in the hospital. And I stayed with him most of the time. He could only have one person, two people in the room with him at a time, but I was either me or Scott were with him. The whole time, thankfully. We were at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, and we played Alice the Madness, the video game. And it is the only video game I have ever played till the end. And we beat the game. So these are some of the figures that we have collected from the American McGee's Alice the Madness. I think we don't have the caterpillar.
No. There's a black rabbit too that we don't have.
Uh-huh.
And they're harder to get now. We got the Alice and Tweedly and the Tweedles, and the others were gifted to us.
This is an item that's really dear to my collection. My friend Dawn, who's now passed away, had breast cancer, and she lost the sight in one eye. And her husband sent this to me after she died. You can see, can you move your arrow around? You can see where she left the needle in this. This is counter cross stitch. She was counter cross stitching this image for me with one eye while she was undergoing cancer treatment. So I have it framed and hanging in my house, and it reminds me of the process of living this mad life. These are two of our most precious books in our collection. We have dozens and dozens of different Alice books. But this one from 1899, this Through the Looking Glass, and the 1904 Alice in Wonderland. Oh, they're in jackets, but they're still forward facing so that we can see how beautiful they are.
Yeah.
We had to put the Hunting of the Snark in there, even though it's not Alice, just because it is a beautiful 1920s edition. So just for all you Snark fans out there.
And this, when we first got together, and the first book of hers that I saw was a Arthur Rackham edition, and then Tennille edition, and the whole story just seemed to fit with how she went down rabbit holes in things all the time, and I started finding Alice related artifacts and antiques and books in shops as we would just travel around and go in places, and I hardly find them anywhere anymore. But this was one of the first that I bought for her, and it's not Alice in Wonderland, but it's still Lewis and Carroll, and I was so excited to find it.
Oh, we've got two pop-up books. This is a theater book I really love. We're just going to go through these kind of quicker. We got 3 minutes.
Oh.
This is the other pop-up book. It's not a theater, but it's just 2 different editions, slightly different, by the same author. These white rabbits, my mom bought me one of them 20 years ago and then gave me another one not too long ago. In the back, you can't see it really well, but that's a watercolor palette from the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got some Alice in Wonderland tarot cards, some beer mugs, a mug that my sister gave me, a party favor of the Cheshire Cat. Yeah, a baby head. There's baby heads in Alice the Madness, so we also have lots of baby heads around. This is a plate from this book, Games We All Play. So it's a transpersonal analysis book from the 70s. But a friend gifted me a table with a plate from this book inlaid inside. Once they find out you're an Alice collector, you just keep getting the stuff.
Uh-huh.
Here are a bunch of my dolls and also some tea. So Adagio Tea has a lot of folks who make Alice in Wonderland inspired teas. Drink Me is like a raspberry yum tea. Kept the tin. More Alice stuff, a flip book, a tea set, a couple tea sets. Another deck of cards. What else do we have here? Dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lighter. That's a Queen of Hearts lighter.
Dollar store.
This is a very scary rabbit. He looks really dirty. He's not. He's from the Halloween store. It's like a baby with a mask. There's a caterpillar puppet that our friend made out of a piece of couch foam that my kids have played with a cockle shell and an ornament. Some Alice in Wonderland perfumes from Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab, and some more tea set. Clock, a Tweedledum game. We've never played that game.
Yeah.
We're out of time. You better swoop. More books, swoop.
Yeah, so many different.
Here's a piece of artwork on the right that hangs in our house that Scott made out of wood and a marionette. Dried roses, a drink me bottle.
There's a rabbit in the Hearts dress,
Mm-hmm.
and the Queen of Hearts back in there.
Oh, that's like a card. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we made it. We love this cover. It's odd that it has a fairy on it, but it's one of our favorites. So if you want to contact us, our emails are there, and you're more than welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I have like so many thoughts right now. First of all, thank you. It's so nice to hear like who gave you things and what were the circumstances of you getting it. And so thank you for sharing so much personal info there. That just makes it so much more special. And I am so impressed. I mean, you have so many wonderful things, but I am so impressed with the friend that got you the book plate.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
how did they find that? Like, how in
I,
the world?
I don't know.
The printing program at one of the schools they attended in upstate New
Oh,
York
had it in the
had
van.
a wealth of printing blocks, and they
Okay.
threw them all
Pull
out
them
one
out.
day. And she was digging through the garbage and found all these old blocks.
School.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And I'm glad you mentioned upstate New York again. Can I ask where you went to art school? Because that's my part of the country where I'm from, at least.
Oh yeah, we met when we were at New Paltz.
State
And
Okay.
University of New York in
uh-huh.
Falls.
And
So,
I got my master's at Long Island University.
okay. So truly upstate. So I'm from Western New York, but a lot of people call Western New York upstate. But okay, so a little far from where I'm from, but New Paltz, that's great. Yeah, I mean, is there one thing that stands out more than others that you would say, like, desert island, or I don't know, there's a fire, or what would you grab out
Oh,
of your entire collection?
I would grab the antique, real antique
The books.
books
Yeah.
and the Count and Cross Stitch from
Yeah.
Dawn for
Yeah,
sure.
that was very
Yeah.
special. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Rachel and Scott. Again,
Oh,
it's so great seeing new faces here. And please stick around because we're all going to talk at the end, all the presenters. And also, everybody, I will put the link. We are having a social hour afterwards, and hopefully, some of our presenters can join us there and you can talk to them more then. But thank you so much. Let's see who is next up on the agenda. I believe it is Rolando from across the pond. And this is someone I'm sure a lot of you know. He comes to a lot of our events and our social hours, Dr. Rolando Andrea Savva. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi everyone. Uh, I first started getting interested in Alice probably about 50 years ago now, which seems ages, of course. Um, uh, as I'm a chemist, we always look for things like periodicity or a periodic table, and I started looking into his work, and I started seeing a pattern, and I can show this better to you, hopefully. By looking at the first board. Now, can you all see that okay?
That is framed perfectly. Yep.
Okay. Now, if we start down the rabbit hole, a good place to start, you will see there's only one L in down the rabbit hole. We then move on to the pool of tears, and there's only one L in the pool of tears. We then move on to a caucus race and a long tail. Okay, there are two E's, but there's still a pattern emerging. From then we move on to the rabbit sends in a little bill, and there's only one D in all of that. So we're seeing more and more a pattern emerging. After that, we get advice from a caterpillar. Again, only one D in that chapter. Then pig and pepper. Then there's a gap. And then we move on to a mad tea party. Again, only one P. And this goes all the way up till what you actually see is Alice Piddell, Alice Liddell. So I thought, well, why is there a gap? And why did he actually use this all the way through? Now, you just have to bear with me a sec. I'll move on to the next board, which will be through the looking glass. Now, can you all see that okay?
Yeah, you can maybe move it towards us just like an inch, but yeah, that's pretty. No, that's perfect actually. Looks
Okay.
good.
Okay, so we're now in through the looking glass, and it's a game based on it's a book based on chess, obviously, and the chapters um, start with Looking Glass House 1. Can you see that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then we have the Garden of Live Flowers, um, Looking Glass Insects, Tweedledum and Tweedledee, Wool and Water, and Humpty Dumpty. Then he starts going backwards down the other side. So we have what is here known as a paternoster, I believe, kind of lift. So you go up to 6, and then you go from 6 down to 12. Along here are the actual years. All of these are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I thought, well, has this got anything to do with Napoleon, which I'll talk about in a moment? And it seems it is a hidden kind of teaching to Alice about Napoleon. If you see this square here, it is under the number 5, and these are the decades going down. So this is 1800, this is 1810, that would be 1815, which is indeed the Battle of Waterloo. Now, if you look at the knights, they are here, and where's the other one? There somewhere. Sorry, I'll find it in a minute. There. And they attack each other on the square that represents 1815. Now, okay, well, surely this is what he's secretly teaching Alice, but no one seems to have found it. And again, we do have the Pleasance going down from P to C, so the chessboard is inside a plesanque, if you like. Now, the Knights itself is probably Copenhagen, which is the Duke of Wellington's horse. Now, Copenhagen was named after the Second Battle of Copenhagen, which was 1807, which is the position of the first night. The battle is on 1815, obviously, and Copenhagen, the horse himself, dies in 1836, which is the position of the second night. So there is a tremendous amount of information, I think, that's in there. Now, what else can we glean from this? Now, things like wool and water, which I thought was obviously wool and Waterloo, is interesting enough. But if you look up Wool, it's actually a small town in Dorset, and it has the same longitude, the one that goes up, latitude, as Waterloo. They are both about 50. And as you might know from the use of L, that is 50. In fact, it's 50. So that tells you that those things are actually a coordinate system. Again, pretty amazing stuff. From there, I'll move on to the last board, which is the hunting of the snob. So just give me a second again.
Absolutely. Take your time. And everybody, I neglected to give my warning. When you're in the chat, make sure you choose everyone from the chat drop down, or else the host and panelists are the only ones who will see your comments. Sorry, Rolando, go right ahead.
Sorry, I needed the break.
Right, great. And also, everybody, I did not put so this is the email that went out today, so it contains the link to the social hour. So if anyone needs that, I just stuck that in the chat. And here is our final board.
And here's our final board, and it's the hunting of the snark. And again, he appears to be using Alice Pleasance as the centre board, and then putting all the fits around it. So the first fit is the landing, which we have here. Then we have the bellman's speech. Then the tale, the baker's tale, the hunting, the beaver's lesson, the barrister's dream. Yes, no, it's the someone's dream, and that is the barrister's dream, and then the banker's fate, and finally the vanishing. Now, these all have an E on a diagonal. So he is actually sort of producing some kind of map, if you like. And following these E's, we finally get to the last E. I don't know whether you can see can you see the last E? It's under there.
We can.
And using, we now have a writing desk going right down here. And the final E, actually, if we put a full stop there, we've got St. Helena almost, which is where Napoleon ended up. And Napoleon Bonaparte goes down that way. And if we lift these out, we have the Battle of Waterloo underneath it, and also a timeline going from January, February, March, April, May, June was the Battle of Waterloo on the 18th, July, August when he was in the Cantabrian Sea, S for September, and we've got another interesting thing here, both equinox and the equator. And Napoleon was actually on the equator at the September equinox in 1815, which was September the 23rd. And finally, the landing, which was in October, and he landed on the 17th of October of that year. This is all based on Alice Pleasant being in the base 18. So that just about concludes it. I'm happy to answer questions or any comments that people want to make. The last thing I might try to do is to put Humpty together again. Well, there's another piece about Edgar Allan Poe. We've talked about the Raven, so let's have a look at the writing.
Okay.
The writing. We talked about the writing. Just let's have a look at the Raven.
And Rolando, you have exceeded your time, so if we could
sorry. I thought it was going to be a lot shorter. Thanks very much.
Oh, that's quite all right. Why don't you move your camera up so we can see your lovely face? Because boy, do I have questions. And everyone else, if you have questions, you can stick them in the Q&A. And at the end, we're going to do like a group chat Q&A. So feel free to put anything you want to ask Rolando or any of our presenters in the Q&A. How did you get started on this project? What instigated it?
Well, I was an organomercury chemist at college, and I was always fascinated about mercury. And then suddenly I was reading through the looking glass, and I made a crown ether using mercury. And chapter 8 or 9, I forget which one, she wears a golden crown. And it was about the same time that I had a patent for making a crown using organomercury compounds. So this seems to have a deep kind of, I don't know, I just really fell down the rabbit hole. You know, I found it absolutely fascinating.
That is not the answer I was expecting, that chemistry brought you into Alice. That's amazing.
There's other things also. He was very influenced by Richard Gray, who wrote a book about the specific gravities of metals, which Lewis Carroll picked up, and he gives a periodic table from seawater up to gold, which predates Mendeleev. So there's all sorts of weird and wonderful, interesting things there.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you presented today, because occasionally you'll allude to some of your projects, like during our social hours, and I'm so glad that you took the time to show them to us today.
I'm absolutely delighted you invited me, and it just flew by. I thought I was only in the third or fourth minute.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. Everyone went over a little, which is fine, because we want, if you have something to show, we want to see it all. Absolutely. But thank you so much. And please stick around till the end. Yeah. And we will do a little joint chat session. And Deby Vivari is indeed here and ready to go. She said, "Put me in, coach. Who cares if I have pneumonia? I am ready." Well, you look amazing for having pneumonia. Oh my goodness.
Drugs are amazing these days. Okay. So my voice is a little hoarse. I have pneumonia, but and I would say, given what other people have done, my collection is more deep than broad. I have certain things I like. The thing I'm going to show you, you're going to wish you had, And just to let you know, I've probably been in the society longer than anybody else since the 70s. So I
Got a
joined when I
few.
was in, huh?
We've got a few around who've
Yeah,
been
I
around
know,
that long.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
them. I know them. Hang on. I joined because of Martin Gardner. Because I was a math major and Martin Gardner and the annotated Alice, and it just, kept happening. So I have the most wonderful Alice in Wonderland globe that my husband got me some number of years ago. He ordered it from London. Okay. And I have to be careful here, but so you can see how big it is. Okay. And it is unbelievable. You can try to see parts of it. There's
Yeah.
the caterpillar, right? There's everything. You have to find, it's hard to find things because they're upside down and sideways, and some stuff you can just see from the bottom, down here, and some stuff you can just sort of see from the top, and things that go together aren't together, the walrus and the carpenter, different places and so forth. It is unbelievable. It is, when you see it, well, maybe not everybody, but it takes your breath away. It really does. I mean,
Oh,
have you ever seen anything like this?
I have never. In fact, I'm wondering, yeah, if you can keep turning it slowly. And I wonder if you put it down in front of you.
Hang on.
Yeah. And
I know I
then,
tried to move back enough that you could see, but if I go too far
yeah.
back, then you can't see it.
No, that's perfect right here, actually. Wow. And I like that the walrus and the carpenter are not together. Maybe they'll cause less trouble that way.
I don't know. I
There.
mean,
Oh, that's great. We can, yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. Okay. There's white. Oh, there's wool and water at the bottom. Wow.
Yep.
So how did your husband come across this?
Beats me. He's usually a terrible present giver. Um, he must have asked somebody, or I really don't know. I was
Wow.
completely flabbergasted because I've never seen anything like it.
It is absolutely gorgeous. Is that so the Red King, what does it say above him? We can't
So
quite, at
there's,
least I can't
hang on,
read
I
that.
brought my glasses. There's a little, you're on the other side. So
Yeah.
there's a little thing that says, yeah, I brought my glasses for this purpose.
Perfect.
Okay, this is Alice's celestial globe depicting the Red King's dream as witnessed by Alice, recalled, recalled something, something. I'm telling you, I'm wearing my glasses and I can't see it. Recalled by Lewis Carroll and illustrated by the artwork of John Tenniel.
Wow. So they're saying this is the globe itself is the Red
Is the
King's
Red
dream.
King's dream as
Int-
recalled by Alice? Yes.
Interesting. Wow. I love that we're
Celestial
on
globe.
Little Bill for so long. That's great.
So, and there's all kinds of markings on the globe, uh, parts of words that I can't quite figure out what the other part is. Some, I don't know what else is on here. Just it's hard to tell what some of the symbols are. There was this very big weird thing that turns out to be the Jabberwocky, but it was hard to tell what it was. Let's see if I turn it another way. Did you see this angle?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not seeing anything unless it's a Jabberwocky at the bottom. I'm not sure. Wow. I know like everyone is going to Google right now and trying to find this
I
globe.
don't think you can find one.
Well, Reed Byers is on the case here in the chat. The globe is made by Greaves and Thomas. They make two sizes. So
Hmm?
maybe they are still available. Yeah. And yeah,
Maybe.
Ellie says you can find it. Fantastic. I think a lot of people just added to their holiday
Christmas
wish
list.
list. Yeah,
The Christmas
absolutely.
list. I mean, I have had it for a long time,
Wow.
a
Well,
very long time. I
where
mean,
do,
I just think it's incredible. I've never seen anything remotely like it.
I absolutely agree, and I can tell from the chat here, everyone agrees with you. Where do you keep it in the house?
I keep it on a little table in my foyer. When my grandchildren were younger, they knew not to go within like 10 feet of it. You know, I
Had them
guess it's my
trained.
special thing, you know.
So it's in the foyer. So is it the first thing people see when they come in, pretty much?
You know what? People don't notice it.
Really? Wow.
They just don't notice it. And I like globes as well, so I have other globes around.
Okay.
But no,
Well,
you have to point it out. And people
yeah.
at some point say, you have a lot of Alice stuff in your house. I have to say, did you notice the globe, you
Yeah.
know, in the foyer? Oh, no, I didn't see that. They notice other things that are on walls or, you know,
Right.
that kind of stuff. Or the fact that I've got, 800 copies of Alice in different languages, you know.
You know,
You
as
know,
one
you can get it
does.
in Yiddish now.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So, so it's just, certain things it's hard to see unless you're, looking at a
Yeah.
different angle.
Well, Ellie actually put a link to it in the chat too, so I
Wow,
think
that's
people
great.
will be able to get a closer look at it. But thank you so much for sharing it. You are correct. Everyone is going to want this.
Well, see,
Absolutely.
how come nobody else has it? There's the question.
I wonder. Yeah, we do have. I mean, some collectors present. I see on the attendance list. Unless you want to keep it to yourself, does anyone else have this? You can just drop that in the chat. I'm very curious. But yeah, thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing that. And in doing so, when you're not feeling great, your voice actually sounds great. So
Oh,
it went
good.
really well. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I just, I love it so much. And, the people who come here are not necessarily Alice people.
Sure.
So when I say this is so fabulous,
They don't get it. They
It
don't get
doesn't
it.
resonate. And I
Right.
knew it would resonate in this group.
Absolutely. You got to show it to the right audience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I'm happy to know that you can still get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't. Yeah. I'm going to look that up for sure. I'll know.
So the link's going around. That'd be
It
great.
is. Yeah. All
Okay.
right. Thank you
All right.
so much. And yeah, we're going to move on to our next presenter, but please stick around till the end and we can all chat together. Next up, well, I will tell everyone we were going to have Brigitte Mongeon, who made that gigantic, wonderful Alice sculpture in Texas, but she is actually going to speak to us and do a full presentation at a later time because she's doing a book about the sculpture and all the hidden items in it. So we will, I'm not sure when I'm going to book her, probably in the spring sometime, but you can stick around for that. But who is actually next is Mark Burstein, and he is going to show us a little sneak preview of the Spring Conference 2026 in person. Mark, take it away. That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
this is the night letter we are currently working on. I just wanted to throw that in to
Yeah.
get you all excited. I'm hoping to get it out by this calendar year, but if not, early January.
That's one groovy cover.
Yeah, it's a very groovy cover. It's a wonderful Russian artist who's featured in our artist spotlight. Okay, so that's not why you're here. You want to hear about the spring meeting. Yay!
Oh my gosh, in the San Francisco Bay Area, June 19th to 21st. All right, take it away.
Done. Okay, so as we all know, normally we have the meetings in the fall, but for various reasons, we have to move this to the spring. But the good news is it's in everybody's favorite city, San Francisco, and the Bay Area, 19th through the 21st of June. I can't at this time give you any confirmed speakers. We really haven't started on the lineup. I will promise you it'll be very exciting. And if any of you have suggestions, perhaps for people, preferably in California, who would like to come speak, I'm all ears, says the White Rabbit. This started out, Linda Graymoyne wanted to have it at Stanford. And even though her husband is a full professor there, they were not very cooperative. So we will be going down there, but that's not going to be the focus. So what we are going to do is have some, it's basically Saturday we'll be in San Francisco, and then we will have some optional adventures. Friday would be down in Palo Alto, where Stanford is, the Schaefer reading in the morning. Possibly, I can't promise yet, the Martin Gardner Archives at Stanford. And then afternoon would be cocktails at Linda's studio and a garden party at her house. Why, you ask? Well, she has an amazing studio, which not only has a lot of her art and recreations of some of Carroll's art, but she's also a gadget collector, Lewis Carroll's gadgets, I should say. A lot of his music boxes, you can see the microscope, same typewriter as he had, and things like that. So it's a lovely place to visit. She also, as many of you know, recreated Dodson's hearth at Christ Church. So it's kind of a thrill to sit there and pretend the man is reading you stories as you sit in front of his fireplace there. Obviously, she's also working on some portraits of him. So that should be fun. And then we would go from there to the loveliest garden you ever saw, which was at her house, which has lots of Alice, obviously sculptures and things like that. I don't even know what my next slide is. Saturday, San Francisco. We'll have an all-day meeting at Fort Mason, a tour of the Aryan Press, and either lunch or dinner at my favorite restaurant on earth, Greens, which is right there. So Fort Mason is at the north end of San Francisco, a former military installation that's just beautiful views of the bay, wherever you are. And as you can see from the bottom slide, very nice meeting rooms, all sorts of technology and stuff, which would be the focus of our Saturday meeting. And then we would, the Aryan Press is the last type foundry in America. As you can see on the upper right, they actually make their own lead type, and all their books are offset, fine press editions. They're totally gorgeous. And I thought it would be interesting to walk around. They do tours of how they make books and things like that. So for us 19th century people, I think it would be a nice refresher course. So you're probably wondering, no, what's next? Greens. As I say, my favorite restaurant in the world. It's gorgeous views. It's vegetarian, and they have a lot of tables and conference rooms. I'm not sure if we'd fill that up, but I'm not sure if we should have lunch there or dinner there, but whatever it is, it would be fabulous. So you're probably saying to yourself, that sounds like a lot of hassle being in 3 different cities. Oh no, sorry. Let me first explain Sunday, which would be at my modest pad up in Petaluma, about 45 minutes north of the city, where some of you have seen, and I'm sure would be most interested in, the Alice Room, which has 4,400 books, 157 languages. My other passion for Alice is original art. So there's a lot of illustration that you've seen in various books that I have the original pieces of. And I'm sure almost everyone could spend many a happy month there, but I'm basically just going to have an open house all day. Just as a side note, the house has a couple of mini museums inside it. As you know, many of you know, my wife is the granddaughter of Charles and Ray Eames, so we have a lot of Eames furniture and other pieces around. And as a total aside, I also have a passion for cartoon art, so there's a lot of that to look around as well. So I know what you're thinking. How am I going to get to all these fine places? Well, we're both about 45 minutes from San Francisco. I was going to read this, but of course my thing is blocking. Oh, there we go. Palo Alto, Caltrain has a direct train service to San Francisco to Palo Alto. Trains run about every half hour. And her studio is a 5-minute walk from the station. So that's very possible that we'll have one designated train at a certain hour, and we can all look, as you can see in the lower right corner, on a nice train ride down there. Her house is about 10 minutes from there. So that's easy. Or, of course, this is the age of Uber, so one might want to consider that. Sunday, there are buses, Petaluma, but I would much recommend Ubers. It's only about $80 and split 4 to 6 ways. That's nothing. If you want to get exotic, you can actually take the ferry and then a train right up there, depending on how ambitious you are. And I did want to mention that for people who are there on Sundays and need to get to either San Francisco or Oakland Airport, there's an airporter very near us that will take you to whichever airport. So logistics, it's not like we're all in the same hotel, but they're quite doable, and I'm hoping you will be tempted. Maybe even spend some extra time in some of these places. I mean, San Francisco is well known. Petaluma is in the middle of the wine country. We also have the Schultz, the Peanuts Museum, very close. There's much to do. And I think that's the end of my rant. So I
wouldn't call it a rant. Yeah, true story. My husband and I went to the Peanuts Museum. We were so excited, Charles Schultz Museum. We got there a half hour early because we thought it'd be like Disney World, and we were like, we went to the door, and yeah, no one else was waiting. Turned out we were the only ones who got there a half hour early, but lovely museum. So Mark, thank you so much for letting us know the bare bones of the conference. I am so excited. I'm thinking party bus, right? All of us just rent like a Hummer limousine and go around in
that's
that.
possible. We've looked at that. It's kind of expensive, but you know, it might be something like that. I think I'll probably let people, you know.
Oh yeah, some people might do it on their own.
It's just logistics. We'll figure it out. And bottom line is Uber, you know, you split it 4 or 6 ways. It's nothing.
And also, I mean, some people might rent cars. I remember I had a lovely car ride with someone I had just met when I went to the previous conference in Northern California. That was when we went to your place. That was fantastic.
But let me just add that if anyone went to my house in Petaluma a few years back, this is a different house.
This is your current house is towerless, correct?
We are towerless, but I managed to fit everything in one gigantic room.
Wow, that is impressive. What did I want to ask? Oh, have you considered, I imagine you have, maybe getting a speaker from the Disney Family Museum? And I'm not just saying that because I've never been there and I've always wanted to, but it seems like they might be a good choice. I don't know.
That's a fine suggestion.
Well, thanks.
I will put it in my suggestion box here of, yeah. Why not? Yeah, I haven't, you know, we've been working on other logistics. I haven't really.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But thank you. And if anyone else has ideas about speakers, presentations, you know, plays, whatever.
Yeah. Fantastic. And do you think you'd recommend people just stay in San Francisco?
Yes.
Proper. Okay.
The 2 big hotel districts are the Marina District, which is right next to Fort Mason. So it's like a walk.
Right.
But those are like, you know, kind of general motels. The nicer hotels are downtown, but the advantage of those is they're very easy to get to the train station. So we'll, you know, when we prepare this, we'll obviously have a lot of information for people. They can decide what they want to do.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. We will be eagerly awaiting further details for sure. And we are going to move on to our final presenter, Dieter de Lange, which I did not ask if that's how to pronounce your last name, so I hope I'm right. Dieter, how are you? Nice to see you.
You were almost close with my surname.
Oh, almost close. Thank you. That's kind. Okay.
It's de Lange.
De Lange. Yeah, not even close. I apologize. I should have confirmed that ahead of time. Dieter wanted me to tell everyone that this presentation is just for fun. It's not a big, serious academic thing, but I think everyone's going to enjoy it a lot, Dieter. Thank you for preparing it for us.
All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm an Alice fan from South Africa, and this is just like Heather said, this is not academic. It's not serious. It's genuinely just for fun. Okay, next slide, please. So just a bit of background, Rozen Maiden is a manga series. So it's a Japanese comic series. It's written by and illustrated by two women named Banri Sendo and Shibuku Ebara. They write under the pen name Peach Pit. And this is an early 2000 series, 22 to 27, 8 volumes. And an alternative version or a reboot was published in the early 2010s. And in 2022, it was the 20th anniversary, and they published 7 omnibus volumes. And the first English translation was published 27 to 28, and this edition is now out of print. But in March from this year, Seven Seas Entertainment is publishing a new English edition, and this time it is based on the omnibus edition. The first 4 have been released so far. The 4th book came out last week, actually, and the 5th one is forthcoming April next year, and the last 2, the date for the last 2 must still be given. Okay. Right, so Rozen Maiden is about a teenager named Jun Sakurada. He is what they call in Japanese a kikomori. That is a young person who has voluntarily withdrawn themselves from society and school. His favorite hobby is ordering weird or creepy knickknacks from disturbing websites, the sort of things you'll get at Ed and Lorraine Warren's museum. And one day, he finds a strange case in his room, and when he opens it, it contains a beautiful Biscay doll in a red dress and bonnet. When he winds the key in the doll's back, she comes to life. Her name is Shinku, and she is the 5th sister of a series of 7 dolls named the Rozen Maiden. Okay? So Rozen Maiden, they are 7 doll sisters made by a European doll maker in the late 19th to early 20th centuries, and they call him Father. Each one of these dolls is alive because she possesses a magical crystal called a Rosa Mystica. Each doll can form a bond with a human, and the human becomes her medium through which she gains power. And the dolls were made for one purpose, to fight and defeat each other in order to obtain each other's Rosa Mystica. And the doll who collects all 7 of these crystals will become Alice. Alice is a metaphor for the ideal girl, and she will see Father again. And the doll who forfeits her Rosa Mystica will fall into an eternal sleep. So in other words, she just becomes a normal doll. And the next slide after this one is from chapter 15 in the manga. They are called episodes in the series. And in this scene, Shinku, who is the 5th doll, she is describing who Alice is. And I asked myself, is her description of Alice as the perfect girl perhaps reminiscent of Carroll describing Alice Liddell as his ideal child friend, as he did to her in a letter of 1st March 1887? Or does it remind us of his description of his fictional Alice in his article Alice on the Stage, which was published the same year? As you know, manga is read from right to left, so start on the next slide, just start on the right-hand image. So what Shinku says, she says, Father is searching for Alice. He has been searching all by himself for a very long time. Alice is a girl who lives with Father, a dream girl. She is more noble than any flower and more pristine than any jewel, without a single blemish. She is a girl of supreme beauty, the likes of which no other girl in the world can hope to match up to. So some people I know refer to Alice, our fictional Alice, in other words. She's been referred to as the patron saint of childhood. Other Alice Easter eggs you find in the series are mirrors and doors acting as portals to other worlds, and the dolls' love of drinking tea. They regularly hold tea parties for themselves. We get talking flowers in the series, particularly roses, and as we know, in Alice, we get roses in Alice in chapter 9, the white roses being painted white. The white roses being painted red, and we get the talking rose in Looking Glass, of course. And in Rozen Maiden, dreams are used to enter the end field. This is where the dolls have to fight each other. And there's also a demonic version of the White Rabbit named Laplace's Demon. Now, I could find absolutely no evidence for this, but there's a possibility that Laplace might have been named after an 18th century French mathematician named Pierre-Simon Laplace, who lived from 1749 to 1827. Whether this is a link to Carroll, I have no idea, like I said, but Carroll was also a 19th century mathematician, and whether or not he was in any way aware of this mathematician's theories, I have no clue. But it could be a possible link. I'm not saying it is, I'm saying it could be a possible link to European mathematicians of the 18th century finding their way in this 21st century Japanese series. The next slide, the text is a bit small, but that's just to show you what the White Rabbit looks like in this series. And on the last page, in other words, the left-hand page, he says to them, please return through the rabbit hole. Now, this character is almost like the clowns or the fools in Shakespeare's plays. He drops these crucial little clues as to what is going on. I think the closest characters in Alice we get to that are the Cheshire Cat and Humpty Dumpty. They also drop these little cryptic hints at what is happening in Wonderland and Looking Glass Land. All right, thank you, Heather. So this is just a brief summary. My time is running out. I want to get to the next slide. There was an anime adaptation. You can find, those who want to, a complete Blu-ray set is available from Sentai Filmworks. I've been able to watch it. I have an external small Blu-ray player. I can watch it on my laptop, and I've just changed the region. And season 2 and the alternative retelling have open endings. But yeah, it is, like I said, it's not a serious series. It's one of those series you watch on a Friday or the weekend when you just want to vegetate in front of your TV or your laptop. Right, I think the next slide is the penultimate slide. This is the important slide, and the reason I did this, watching and reading this series, it reminded me of Amanda Kennell's excellent presentation to the Society in March 2023. She spoke about Alice's influence on Japanese manga and popular culture. And that same year, she published a very good book called Alice in Japanese Wonderland, for those who haven't read it yet. And this also reminded me of our show and tell of last year. When we had Ryan Mazzeni, he had a spectacular collection of Alice dolls, those who remembered it. And as you have seen in the slides, in the pictures, Alice has had a significant impact on modern Japanese fashion, where Victorian motifs and designs are incorporated. This is called Gothic Lolita. Amanda also mentioned this. And maybe during our social hours, someone can answer this question for me. My question is, do we have any other Gothic Alices? The ones I could think of at the tip of my fingers, we have American McGee's Alice. Tim Burton's Alice was also quite Gothic. And we have also the illustrations of Camille Rose Garcia. Even though her illustrations are very bright and pink and purple, you can see Gothic elements, especially in the characters' big black eyelashes. But I really enjoyed this series so far, and it's also fun to look out for Alice Easter eggs like I did. So maybe in future, maybe someone knows of another series or film or whatever that also has Alice Easter eggs. I think maybe one day we can do a big presentation where we show any Alice references we can think of. And I think that's that. The last slide is just for copyright. Yeah, in case we get copyright struck. Colored images were taken from the website Mini Tokyo, and all black and white images are from the Kindle edition of Rozen Maiden, published this year by Seven Seas Entertainment.
Excellent. Thank you so much for such a well put together presentation. That does sound like a really fun time. Everyone just sharing Alice references they've found in certain things, Stranger Things, a million things in the world that refer to Alice in Wonderland. I was actually intrigued. I haven't seen the movie Us, but Rachel mentioned there's a sort of White Rabbit theme there. I would love to check that out, although I don't like horror movies. I don't know. So Dieter, is anime and manga, is that like a favorite genre of yours? Do you read a lot of this?
Some, but not all of it. I avoid the mainstream stuff. This series is sadly today underrated. I think it was quite big when it came out in the 2000s. Just a side note, thank you so much for your help, Heather. I think, as we've said, when you upload this, I think we should just edit out all the bloopers.
We definitely will, and I want to apologize. That was very poor hosting on my part. Everyone, I totally forgot that Dieter sent me his presentation way back in October, so I had it all along. I could have just loaded it up, but yeah, we learned some things about Zoom and about presenting, and yes, thank you for not giving up. And yeah, I really appreciate you putting that together for us because I know, some of our dare I say, more seasoned members, older members, don't know a lot about the manga genre. So this is great that you were able to share it with them and show how Alice inspires that as well. And our numbers have dwindled. Some of our presenters had to leave, but Rolando and Mark and Betsy, if you all want to turn on your cameras and unmute, if you have any questions or comments for each other, let's do it. If you don't, that's fine too. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to speak again if you have something to say. Hi, Betsy.
Hello. What is it? Okay, I'm like super duper into like anime and manga as well, and I really just am fascinated with Japan and like their fascination with Alice in Wonderland. Dieter, have you seen the 1983 Alice in Wonderland anime? Because that is like one of my favorite animes ever.
Yes.
And it's, like, so cool.
Is it the one she has a red hat, a red dress and a red hat?
Yes.
And she has you get the white rabbit, but he's big. She has a little bunny, his
little
nephew.
Bunny. Yeah.
Benny, yes, it was broadcast in South Africa. The English dub was, but there's no information on who did the voices. There's no list of voices. But I love the soundtrack. It was by this German composer. Well, the dub soundtrack, and it's this 80s Euro disco soundtrack, and the theme song is brilliant.
Oh yeah, no, I love the theme song.
It showed in South Africa, actually. I did mention this once. What was interesting, there was other anime from the 80s and 90s also shown on South Africa, but those were dubbed into Afrikaans. Like those who know Moomin from Finland, that anime series was huge, here, and it was dubbed into Afrikaans. And the Heidi anime series from the 70s was also a huge hit here. But that was dubbed in Afrikaans, but for some reason Alice was not. I remember on TV when they announced Alice was coming, the announcement they're in Afrikaans, but yeah, this Alice series was shown in English.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
I don't know.
the series, the English dub series, you can find it on YouTube.
I don't know if the Cheshire Cat boys are in the here, but we just finished up a book, Alice in Comic Book Land, and our next one will actually be on manga.
That is so cool.
And graphic novels. So 2 in 1. But there will be probably sometime next year there'll be a book on Alice in manga.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll definitely tune into that.
I was actually in Japan in November, and I did find these. This is Alice. Yeah, this is Japanese. The translator is let me just see. The translator's name is Sumiko Yagawa, and the illustrations are by Kuniyoshi Kaneko. This is his looking glass.
And by the way, everyone, the Cheshire Cat boys are the Cheshire Cat Press is what Mark's referring to, are our friends above the border in Canada who have a wonderful what did you call it? A publishing house? I'm not sure. But they make these beautiful limited edition books. So press. It's a press is what it is. Mark, are you trying to show us something? We're looking at your ceiling.
I'm trying to. I've got a shelf of manga there. I can't. I'll have to switch to my phone to show it to you. There are about 30 books. Most of manga series like that are anywhere from 8 to 25 volumes. So I just collect volume 1, and even just collecting volume 1 is an entire shelf. So there's a lot of it out there.
I won't say Rozen Maiden is an Alice manga, but it just has a lot of Alice Easter eggs.
I have been curious about watching Rozen Maiden for like a little bit, along with like other anime that I do need to catch up on. So I will definitely have that on my list as well. I'm very intrigued by that one.
Nice. And Mark, I have a question for you then. So how many of the books you buy do you actually read? I'm guessing you didn't read all those volume 1s and then put them on the shelf.
2,100 copies of Wonderland.
You've read that one, sure.
I read every single one. Every time I get a new. No, I mean, what can I say? Some are for reading and some are just for having on your shelves.
Gotcha.
Especially in languages I don't speak, which is pretty much all of them.
all but one?
Well, I have 3 or 4 languages, but
nice.
Nothing like. Anyway.
Mark, I'm actually curious. How many books do you have of Alice in Wonderland that are translated in Spanish? I'm only biased because I'm Guatemalan. My family's Guatemalan, so like I'm always interested in the Spanish side of Alice in Wonderland.
Well, I've got. If I can move this thing over, I could show you. We can see if it works. Otherwise, I'd have to go to my phone. Hold on, please. Well, let's see how far.
Hey, Mark, are you planning on going to social hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe, yeah, why don't we could adjourn to that and then we could.
Basically, 3.5 shelves of Spanish Alice's.
Wow.
Nice.
But I'll switch over to the phone and then I'll show you there.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Perfect. And everyone, I did put the link to the email that contains the social hour link in the chat again there, so you have it handy. Rolando, did you have any parting words of wisdom for us?
Great society to join. Love everyone. Great fun.
Oh, see? I think that is a fantastic note to end on. Thank you so much. And thank you to all our wonderful presenters. I love this event every year. It's so fun to see what everybody's working on, what they're collecting. So great. We will see everyone in January for Yunshu Q's presentation. And hopefully we'll see you at social hour momentarily, everyone. Thanks so much. Happy holidays.